This is Hoodies. Word. Last sound check. Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2. Energy up. Yeah. Welcome back to another dope session of Hoodies the Podcast. I'm the host, the God Rashidi, coming at you live from the Skill Suite. Maybe not so live, but we coming at you, man. Good morning, man. Good morning. Here for the double up. I'm here for the double up. Don't you know I'm good? Don't you know I'm good? Don't you know I'm good? All right, y'all. All right. Just warming up. All right. Let's do this thing, man. So before we dip into this, I don't have a whole lot of time. I'm in here mad early before my first client. So listen, man, no RIPs or anything like that to give out. None that I can think of at the moment. But anybody who's lost a loved one, I'd like to send out my condolences. Send you out some warm energy. Sorry for your loss. And just the same for anybody who's got a birthday today, including those being born. Happy born day. Hey, salute to you. More life, man. More life. Word. How y'all doing? Y'all good? I'm good. Oz is not here with me today, but Oz is good. So if we all good and anything good, let's go ahead and get into this. All right? I think it's gonna be good. Let's go. Okay. Listen, man. We are born. We are born. And from the day that we are born, we are being recruited. Yep, recruited. We are being recruited by our fathers and or mothers, our grandfathers and or grandmothers, and various other family members, maybe even our peers. We are being recruited, right? This is about to be one of those. All right? So you can click off now. So everybody's being recruited by folk whom I'm going to go out. It's not even going out on a limb. I'm just going to say these are people who are passionate about our well-being, right? Passionate, and they care and are invested in our well-being. So in an effort to do that, the day that we are born, we are being recruited to be a part of a particular belief system. There's a shitload of belief systems, and not all of them are religious. You know, a father would tell you, hey, you know, as a man, what you're supposed to do, if you say you're going to do something, you do it. You know what I'm saying? A man will tell you, even a woman, they'll tell you, hey, once you commit to something, you know, commitment is, hey, even when you don't feel the same way you did when you made the commitment, you stand on that shit. That's commitment, son. At least that's what I told my sons. I don't know about any other fathers, right? But yeah, we're being but we're also being recruited to be a part of particular religious groups, right? A Christian household is telling a child from the day it's born about Jesus, Joseph, and Mary, and the devil or Satan, whatever you want to call him. You know, a Muslim child, particularly that in the Nation of Islam. I can speak to that because I don't know what it's like to be a part of Orthodox Islam or Sunni or Shiite, right? And the Nation of Islam is Islam, but it is with a black nationalist twist, or well, let's also say a Pan-Africanist twist. But each of them has their own way of identifying or distinguishing themselves from the other. So even with these different groups, there are subgroups, if you will. Just like with the group, of Christian/Christianity, there are subgroups. You know what I mean? Non-denominational, Pentecostal, Methodist. I would say Catholic is another subgroup or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And also with Islam, there's the 5%ers, which is a spinoff. And then there's, like I said in the last pod, there's positive thinkers, and then there's self-believers. Let's call it that, right? So, okay. And this ain't going to be super deep or super long. My point is, from the day we are born, we are being recruited by our family and people who love us and have our best interests at heart and are vested into our well-being. They're telling us about Jesus. They're telling us about Muhammad, God, and Allah. They're telling us about the importance of believing in oneself, right? They're telling us the importance of thinking positive and having a positive mindset. They're telling us about Buddha. They're telling us about Hare Krishna. They're telling us about Olodumare. They're telling us about whatever that belief system is. We're being told that as kids. And as we grow, having these things drilled in us, right? When something happens in our lives, something that I'd like to refer to, y'all have heard me say this, called a significant emotional event. Something happens, right? Something that we can't necessarily mentally fathom. How did that happen? Or what is that? Something that we can't understand. It seems to be beyond our comprehension. And when that happens in our lives, and I believe that's happened to everybody, regardless of what you believe, right? You've had moments where something happened. It made no sense, but it happened. You can't unknow it. You can't unsee it. And when you seen it, you thought to yourself, if you've been recruited since you were a child, you thought to yourself, oh, that's got to be Allah. That's got to be Jesus. Oh, that's got to be as a result of me believing in myself. Or that's got to be the ancestors. That's got to be because I was thinking, what else could it be? Positive thinking will bring about positive. You see what I'm saying? Everybody got a story. Everybody can say, hey, well, I got experience. If I was told since I was a kid that aliens are in the bushes, and every time something happens in my life, or just something happens, period, and I happen to witness it, that's the aliens at work. And if I've been told that ever since I was a child, a young pup, when something happens, oh shit, that must be what my pop was talking about. Oh shit! Now how's that even possible? How'd that happen? Like there's no other explanation. Like how else do you explain it? Now you with your peers. How? It's got to be the aliens my old man was telling me about when I was a kid. My pop been telling me about that since I was a teenager. Oh word, my pop been telling me that too. Damn, them aliens, that shit is real, fam. And then you come across someone else who's been recruited by another group of thinkers, or another group with a different school of thought. How's that? And now they're saying, well, nah, it's because our ancestors are in the bushes. Nah, it ain't no damn aliens. That's our aunt. Now both of y'all are going back and forth. How else you supposed to explain it? It happened in your favor, didn't it? Well, wouldn't that mean that it's the ancestors? Wouldn't the ancestors do things that's in the favor of everybody's felt something? But here's what I've come to realize. It's almost sounding like the last pod when I touched on different belief systems. Repackage. Gotcha. So here's something that I've realized, that I've come to notice having been a part of different belief systems. I've also realized that not only is everybody trying to figure some shit out, there is no group, okay? There is no group that has an advantage or a leg up over the other. All of them are dealing with some shit. There is no group. Okay, you got Jesus. Your group, your religious group, or your group of because some of y'all be trying to get, funky with the terminology. I ain't a Christian, I'm a follower of Christ. I'm a follower of Jesus H. Christ. I ain't religious, I'm spiritual. If you follow the Bible, I mean, you can give it all kinds of. You call yourself a Hebrew Israelite, as far as I'm concerned. With all due respect, though. With all due respect, just like the whole gay thing, trans and this and this. As far as I'm concerned, it's all gay. It's all gay. If you a dude transitioning to a woman, you're gay. You just decided to take it to another level. You decided to take that big leap to cut off your organs and get some new ones, right? So Hebrew Israelite, Methodist, whatever, call yourself spiritual. If you go by the Bible, as far as I'm concerned, you're just a Christian by another name. And I say that with all due respect. You're just a Christian by another name. And I respect it. That's what's up. Subgroups and all, right? But again, to beat a dead horse, there is no group that has an advantage over the other. If you ask me, I think a lot of you focus on the wrong things. See, it doesn't matter if whether or not I think your religion is based on some real shit. It don't matter. I do, however, believe that it's a great tool. You can use it to teach, because in the Bible and in the Quran, there are life lessons in it. An atheist could read it and get something out of it. It's because it's about life. And if you live in life, there's bound to be something in there that you can relate to. Right. And for the record, words like solemn and vow and things like that, just because the Bible uses it doesn't mean the Bible invented the fucking word. Niggas been using words like that long before the Bible. And some of you probably don't. I told y'all this was going to be one of those. The Bible is a derivative of another text, of multiple texts. I'm not really trying to go down that rabbit hole on this episode. But I'll say this. The text that it came from, the Book of the Dead and various other texts, right? I suppose in the bigger scheme of things that don't really matter. What really matters is adhering and applying the lessons, the 42 laws of Ma'at, right? Which is, look that up, the 42 laws of Ma'at. That's M-A''AT, Ma'at. Okay, the 10 Commandments is derived from that. But in the grand scheme of things, I suppose that don't matter, because if you read the 10 Commandments, fuck where it came from or who wrote it even. If it's something like say thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not covet, thou shalt not, all the shalt nots, right? And then it's a derivative from the 42 laws of Ma'at. So regardless of what you believe, my point is everybody's focused on, and even myself at times, whether or not, it's real, or, Christianity ain't real, Jesus didn't live, and Allah and Muhammad and so forth. In the big grand scheme of things, fuck all that. How about what's in the book? If you're going to subscribe to this religion that refers to this book, be it the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, fuck all that. What about the contents within this book? Because you're a part of this group that references this book oftentimes. Most sermons and so forth are based off scripture or passages in whatever your book is. Fuck who wrote it in the big scheme of things. What about the contents in there? Everybody's so focused on, just focus on the lesson that scripture is trying to teach. Focus on the message that the passage is trying the message is trying to, the point that it's trying to make, the message that it's trying to give, the lesson that it's trying to teach. If that makes any sense. I'm wondering if this is coming out right. Sometimes I never know until I start editing and whatnot. Everybody's focused on the wrong shit. If you ask me, this is just all my POV. But to beat a dead horse again, no group has an advantage over the other one. Everybody is trying to figure some shit out. As a matter of fact, let me tell you who does have the advantage. And this applies to every group. There are thousands of groups, meaning thousands of belief systems. Thousands of, groups with subgroups of their own. Let me tell you, though, who has an advantage in these groups. The people in these groups who are driven, ambitious, go-getters, the ones who talk a little bit, you know what I mean? Because every great idea, every next move, every attempt to win starts with thought. Meaning it's in the subjective world. It starts there and it cooks. You cooking it, boy. You cooking it. You thinking, oh, I want to do this. You know what? If I do that and then do this, then this will be even greater. And you cooking it up. And next thing you know, eventually you go from, like I said, talking a little bit to actually doing. Right? And there's some other attributes to go with it, but I think y'all got it. Those are the ones who have an advantage, regardless of the group. Just because you're a Christian, sorry to tell you, that don't give you an advantage over a self-believer because you got Jesus and he don't. No. You could be the most sanctified Negro in the room. But if you don't get up off your ass and get active, ain't shit gonna happen for you. I don't give a fuck how hard you beat that tambourine. I don't care how many times a day you pray, even if you're a Muslim. 5 times a day. Nigga, you could pray 10 times a fucking day. That don't mean nothing. You don't have an advantage over the Christian. Or the Christian over the positive thinker. Over the Buddhist. You get what I'm saying? And listen, if anybody is downtrodden in whatever group, it's the ones who do that. Do all that yapping and all that talking about who they are, what they supposed to be. And little sidebar, real quick. Sidebar. Listen, there is no need to beat people over the head about what you believe, about who you are and what you are about. There's no need to beat people over the head about it. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, if it's real, it'll show. You don't have to tell. Listen, a kid who gets straight A's in school, that kid ain't got to tell people, yo, I be studying, man. I be studying. I be taking notes. You know what I'm saying? I pay attention in class. I be making cue cards. I have my moms and my pops and my little brother take the cue cards and test me. And I be answering the questions before they even finish, asking them. They don't have to tell you that. You see what I'm saying? Because it already shows. The little fucker got straight A's. He's getting straight A's. Shit, I don't give a fuck if it's straight C's. Now, that's average, sure. But it ain't D's. You don't have to tell them that they figured out a way to get by. You see what I'm saying? They're not getting by the skin of their teeth. They're getting straight C's. They don't have to tell you that. To a degree, even they've got something figured out. Something that works for them. Then you've got students who most of the semester are shitty in class. But right before the grades go in to show up either on your progress report or your report card, because of course those are two different things. Right? Some know how to turn it on. Like their progress report may not be much, but before it goes on the actual report card, shit, they done done some makeup work, retook a test that they blew and didn't study for. They started paying attention and doing that, and boom, now they got a B. Man, listen. I'm still in the sidebar, right? So yeah, let me say that one more time, and we can get out the sidebar. There's no need to beat people over the head about who you are, what you're about. You don't have to. If it's real, it'll show. It will show. Who you really are will show. If you really about that, if that's who you are, it'll show. One way or the other, it'll show. It'll show. Because if you're not who you say you are, it'll what? It'll show. End of sidebar. So yeah, if there's anybody who's downtrodden, it's the one who does all that talking, but that's about all they do is talk. Nobody's winning over the other one. Everybody's has to seek counsel with someone wise. Right? And then you have to do what my old man would say, eat the meat, spit out the bones. In other words, you take what works for you, and if it doesn't apply or if it doesn't work, you go ahead and discard the bones. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is just trying to figure some shit out. Shit, listen, we don't know if any of this shit is really real. Unless a person has transitioned, meaning died, and went to the so-called afterlife and came back to tell us. And don't you dare say, hey, shit, what Jesus did. Stop. Stop. I can hear y'all now. What Jesus did? Jesus, sweet baby Jesus did it. Get the fuck out of here. Come on, man. Come on. But unless someone came back and can tell you what it's like, we don't know. We are all just hoping. I suppose we're hoping for something better than this. I guess. Couple questions to ask though. Would you still believe what you believe if there was no promise of heaven? You know? If there was nothing in it for you? Would you still believe what you believe if you weren't recruited? Now, you can say, well, hey, you believe what you believe because you heard somebody talking and you heard people saying it and it had an effect on you. And then we'll listen. Everybody was told something. Everybody was told, here, take this book, read that for yourself, and let me know if you got any questions. I think some of y'all have been believing what you believe for so long, you may have forgotten that. Everybody was told, everybody's coattail was pulled. Hey, you know about Jesus? You know about the goodness of Jesus Christ? Come on, sit down. Let me talk to you about our Lord. You know what I'm saying? The way the brothers in the Nation of Islam is able to recruit the likes of the late brother Minister Malcolm X. Minister Louis Farrakhan, he was recruited. You know what I'm saying? Brother Muhammad Ali, he was recruited. And various Khalid Muhammad. Listen, everybody was recruited. Everybody's coattail was pulled. Hey, let me talk to you, brother. Let me tell you, the black man is God. You know? And they're going to break it down to you. The 5%ers, that's how they're going to break it down and tell you. Let me tell you what the mathematics is for the day. You know what I'm saying? They was given literature to read. Or maybe people prayed around them and everybody was recruited. I think some people are just so in the pocket in terms of what they believe. And it's, they're there for so long that piece of tomato. They're there in that world for so long. Some people kind of forget how they started out. And I get it. I get it, because even within, like, we grow, and sometimes we kind of forget, you know. But nobody, we know nothing, man. We're just subscribing to something that resonates with us. Oh, you mean, hold on, wait a minute. You mean that I can fuck up and I can ask for forgiveness? Shit, that's what's up. That's what's up. And I'm saying that because some people treat y'all religion like the welfare system. Keep having babies, and the government's gonna break you off with some WIC, food stamps, and some other shit. I don't think they even do food stamps no more. I think they got a card where they deposit monies on a card now. I think. You know what I'm saying? When I was a kid and we was on public assistance, we got food stamps and some other stuff. The government cheese, the government butter, the government peanut butter, the government cereal. Yeah. 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 And we were Muslims. So I knew Christians who was on the same thing. Food stamps, the whole nine. I mean, listen, everybody's just trying to make it. Now, I may know, well, no. I know a little bit about the church life. The mosque as a child, what I can remember how there's the women, the sisters on one side, then there's the brothers on the other side. And then over there may be the youth sitting down. And even the youth, from what I understand, are kind of in groups by age. I remember talking to some other young Muslims there. We were all, for the most part, around the same age, somewhere, 4th, 5th, and 6th, maybe 7th graders. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, for those of you who don't know, maybe you do understand, the reason why the masjid or the mosque keeps women on one side and the men on the other side, it's done like that so that the men aren't distracted by the woman. What do I mean by that? I mean, he's not distracted by her scent, right? Now, the Sisters of the Nation of Islam wear garb, religious garb, right? To where the hair is covered. Everything's covered. All you can see is you can't see their feet. They got shoes on. You can see their hands. And of course, you can see their face. However, you can still be distracted by a pretty face. And vice versa. A sister can be distracted by the scent of one of the brothers, or how handsome and what's the word I'm looking for? Stocky a brother is. One of the fruits or whatever. They can become distracted. Because just because you Muslims and you're in the place of worship doesn't mean that you don't have human urges. So that's the reason why the two put on separate sides, so that the women can focus, right, on the message being given, and the men can focus. Well, I mean, if a man is into other men, then I suppose that won't work. And same thing for the women. I suppose it ain't working. That's kind of self-explanatory. But I remember that. And then the church, not so structured. Not as structured. Everybody just kind of sits where they sit. And that about it. I'm trying to think. You got the collection plate. And then oftentimes the preacher will preach a good message. You know what I'm saying? That'll really get you going. I'm not going to front and act like I was never, pumped up from after hearing a message when I was a teenager in church. I heard something. I'm just saying I never felt I was there and praying like everyone else was. And I've said this before, and I'll make it brief, but I remember just watching folk, get the Holy Ghost, right? And they get to doing a little ditty bop, and you can tell something's happening because a hat done fell off and the hairs from the wig is, and there's levels to the dancing, right? And here I am. I'm in the same place, saying the same prayer, experiencing the same thing, and I've never been moved. I've watched people write. I've seen my brother get it and start speaking in, I suppose, tongues. I saw my pop get it, started stomping his feet, you know. You know what I'm saying? I'm just remembering, like, watching him now, like, wow, my memory be on point. I don't forget shit. But yeah, he was stomping his feet, start speaking in tongues. I can't remember how he said it, you know. And I remember one time we was in like a prayer service, and it was myself, my brother, and my pop, and we're on our knees. You know, it's a prayer service, so it's most likely was a Wednesday, and we're on our knees, and so my brother, y'all remember the commercial? Y'all remember the Ruffles commercial? Ruffles. Remember that? Ruffles potato chips. Ruffles have great ridges. Remember that commercial? So, oh man, you had to be there. My brother started faking. He started, I guess, basically imitating people who speak in tongues. He was like, Ruffles. Ruffles. Oh man. And we kids, man. We kids. So I'm laughing. I'm trying not to laugh. How about that? And my pop heard that. He looked up. Stop. With the most serious of looks on his face. But oh man. If me and my brother was talking, man, I'm sure that would seriously break the ice. If we was, after not talking to each other for a while, if we was to get around each other and I was to bring that up, man, we would probably laugh for about a good 10 minutes straight. Man. Anyway. And listen, some people may say, well, maybe the people around you probably just didn't give a really good example of a church person or a person who was a part of the Nation of Islam. And listen, let me tell you something, man. It don't matter. My grandfather could have been the leader of the Nation of Islam, and it wouldn't have mattered. You know, and see, my grandfather was a part of a particular Muslim-oriented, guess, editorial, kind of like a newspaper. And in that, he wrote just a brief autobiography of himself. He talked about where he was born. He was born in Arkadelphia, Arkansas in 1915. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. But anyway, at one point, he decided to move to Chicago. I know y'all have heard me say this. I got a whole pod called Babu. Go check that out. That's in honor of my maternal grandfather. But anyway, so he goes to Chicago in search of Marcus Garvey's movement, the UNIA, which, of course, if you know, it's the Universal Negro Improvement Association. My bad. Right? But when he got there was only a few people scattered here and there. By this time, Marcus Garvey was set up and was incarcerated. Right? So he's in Chicago. That's why he went there to join the movement. Okay? He then heard about the Nation of Islam and realized that a lot of the principles that was a part of the UNIA, of what it was about, was also what the Nation of Islam was and is about. Doing for self, own businesses, putting the black man and woman child first, like doing for self. You own this, you own that, businesses and things of that nature. That's what the UNIA was about. That's what the Nation of Islam was about. Okay, which makes sense because Elijah Poole, right, used to be at Marcus Garvey's rallies. Elijah Poole went on to become Elijah Muhammad. So it's no coincidence that the Nation of Islam is fashioned after that, militarized, with the fruits of Islam. So is the UNIA. I'm saying all that to say that if you look here, there's the red, black, and green flag. That flag was created by the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, right? Now, Marcus Garvey was a Jamaican. I believe he was from St. Anne, Jamaica. But he realized that the black man in America, right, had no flag. We don't know where we descend from. Ghana, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, the Congo, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Algeria, South Africa. We don't know, right? We don't have a flag of our own. This flag, Marcus Garvey created in the 1920s, right? Of course, the red representing the blood of the people. And see, the blood is very important because there's a lot of black folks who don't look black. You know what I'm saying? But they are. That's why the blood is important. That's what the red represents. And of course, black is for the people, the original people, them blue black folk. And plus, you can get every color of the spectrum from black. And green, of course, representing the resources in the land, which generates, of course, money. But it represents the land, the resources in the land, and so on and so forth. That is called the Pan-African flag, or the RBG flag. I'm saying that to say that I was on this, right, before I got wind of the letter my grandpop wrote. Now, could it be a coincidence that that's what he was about? And then later on in my life, that's what I'm about? Could my grandfather be one of the ancestors that well, he is, but see, I'm not a delusional believer. I'd like to think my ancestors are watching over me, but I cannot say for sure, yeah, my ancestors are there. But could it be a coincidence that I'm on the same school of thought as my grandfather? See, being a Pan-Africanist isn't even religion based. Coincidence? Or is something else going on there? I don't know. I'd like to think so, but I don't know. I believe, but I don't know. Right? But yeah, I just went down a rabbit hole. But let me just start back to where I was in terms of there's no other group that has an advantage over the other. Everybody's just trying to do the best they can with what they got. Everybody is rocking with what resonates with them, with something that's practical for them. That's what it is. And so, even if you're not a part of a group, you're a part of a group, because I'm sure there's someone else who feels the same way. You know, I think we all should think about that, especially going into the holiday season. I think we should all think about that before you get all up somebody's face and start telling them you need Jesus. Start trying to tell people what the fuck they need. You need Jesus. So do that. Do that. Do you do that? Matter of fact, no. Be that. Be that. Be it. And I guarantee you won't have to say a word. This is a message out to all groups. I wish the best for everybody, including the group that I directly or indirectly, you know what I'm saying, am a part of. I wish everybody the best. I wish everybody prosperity. I get that where you are now, it's not where you will end up. We're all still evolving and growing. You know, there's still parts of us that need to die, you know, so that this other version of us can emerge and resurrect. Well, not resurrect, but just emerge. You know, I wish that for everybody, man. Yeah. So thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for giving me your ear so I can babble. It's almost time. It's almost showtime. It's almost time for me to get to work. So I'm gonna get out of here. I want to thank you for your likes, subs, and shares. Thank you for the new subscribers. I did say subs, right? Yeah, man. Just appreciate y'all. Y'all have a beautiful weekend. Beautiful day, beautiful weekend. Y'all stay safe. And yeah, word. I'm the God Rashidi. This is Hoodies, man. Peace. Hey, this is Hoodies.